Hello, this is Paul Glumaz, and this is being brought to you by General Welfare Presents. And today is the most auspicious day, the Wednesday, September 4th, 2020, the day after the election of September 3rd, 2020. What we have right now is what a lot of people expected, which is what we have: an ongoing election theft in full view, in the open, for everyone to see. And it's been completely put there in the open. It's completely transparent, and it was projected by the election integrity initiative exercises by the deep state. And you had Biden publicly saying that we have the best election fraud organization in U.S. history. And people say, well, that's just another one of his gaffes. No, I think he really said that. He really meant it. And at the point that the counting stopped, Biden told the audience, without any results coming in after that, saying we're in a place we want to be in. And Biden also said, I don't need your vote. I don't need your support. I need your support after I'm the president, after I'm declared the president. Why would he need your support after he declared the president? Because it's going to be stolen, and he needs you support afterwards, right? So that's the kind of situation that we're in. It's very transparent. Trump was definitely ahead. He ran an incredible campaign. He was getting up to 50,000 people per rally. He was ending with 5 rallies a day. And he was clearly winning up until a certain point. And then they stopped counting across the board. Amazing. And then 138,000 votes showed up in Michigan in a sequence, and not one Trump vote in that. So he was way ahead in Michigan. And now they're declaring Michigan to be a Biden win. And when Trump tweeted that out, his tweet was blocked by Twitter. So this is the kind of thing you're dealing with. This is totally across the board. Is the media, the social platforms, it's all coordinated. And so Trump is saying, look, we're now going into the legal part of the election, the legal war. And there's cases in Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan. There's cases in Wisconsin. There's cases in Nevada and also Arizona. So this is now going into a legal situation. This legal war has begun over the question of counting, legitimate counting, and the whole mail-in ballot system was set up so that votes could be cast after the initial results of the election were presented. So you're voting 1 or 2 days after the election, and they're being counted. Oh, and you don't have to have a postmark on your ballot, and you don't have to have a signature to go with the ballot, to match with the ballot. What is that? That's fraud. If you're so why did they stop it? Because they, at a certain point, they saw that Trump was going to win, and they had to stop it to do the fraud. That's very clear. And and so It was out in the open. It was very clear, and so that's where we are now. So and it was pretty much broadcast that that's what they were going to do if Trump was ahead. So here's the most important point that I want to make. This election fraud has to be fought all the way. All the way. Because if you don't fight it all the way, when it's this transparent, then all future elections will not be trusted by the electorate. If the whole thing is rigged, then you don't really have a republic. You have a corrupt system in which there is no ability for the population to do anything about the government that they have through the electoral process. And if they cannot change the government or respond to the conditions that are being imposed to them by the government, you have effectively created a situation where your government and the billionaires and the elite do whatever they want. There's nothing you can do about it. What, you're going to go vote? You're going to go vote? Vote them out of office? No. You're not going to vote them out of office. We now have a Stalinist situation. What do I mean by Stalinist situation? Well, Stalin was very famous for saying the following. The people who vote don't count. It's the people who count the votes that count. That's a Stalinist situation. That's what I call a Stalinist situation. So the elections are rigged from then on. So the population will no longer look to the elections as the basis for resolving or having any kind of government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's gone. It's gone. So that leaves you in a situation, that leaves all the population in a situation that, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the Green New Deal coming in and crushing you, the drugs coming in, crushing you, the gangs coming in, crushing you? How do you deal with the fact that I think in Oregon they legalized heroin and every drug was legalized? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with your entire savings being wiped out? Your entire 401ks being wiped out in the Great Reset. How do you deal with that? If you had Trump there, Trump would say, okay, we're going to finance, we're going to keep you in the home. We're going to keep you having the funds you need to survive. They don't have to do that. They let you die. The Great Financial Reset, which has been set up, is waiting for Trump to be not the president, to be able to do it, to have Kamala Harris in there as the president, because Biden isn't going to make it. He might be there for a little bit, but she's coming in, and they're going to do the Great Reset, which is the whole situation where we go to digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, and then they hyperinflate to wipe out the paper, to wipe out the debt, and people's entire savings will be gone. It'll be like Germany when inflation took place. They wipe out your savings. You wipe out your 401k. It's the end of it's the end of everything you've done in your life. That's now in some kind of form that's providing you with your extra, etc. They're going to do that. That's their plan. And so now if Trump were there, he'd take the Federal Reserve, nationalize it, and launch an economic recovery, and you would not be destroyed by this. And also, the dollar would then be valuable, and you wouldn't go into these digital currencies. So this is part of the whole thing that's going on. So the reaction to this imposition through massive fraud of an illegitimate government that's being planned will lead the population to very desperate measures, which means violence. How are you going to deal with, election system doesn't work, so you have violence. Then the British can infiltrate, the militias and so forth, and get a good civil war going, which would be wonderful as far as they're concerned. So this is what we're up against. This is what we're up against with this situation. Therefore, Trump and we have to fight this vote fraud all the way through, and then fight all the way through into January 20th. Because if you don't do that, you have lost the republic. It's that simple. Trump won this election. That's very clear. And everything that's been done is to undermine that, to destroy the result, to create the vote fraud, is illegitimate and cannot be accepted. And it has to be fought all the way through. And there are a lot of fights coming, legal fights, court battles of every kind you can imagine in all these states. And by the time of the Electoral College, you may not have a very clear situation. Who are the electors? Okay? And then you go into Congress. And then there's a further fight. And if it's not resolved by the time of January 20th, who's going to remain as president? Trump? Nancy Pelosi? Biden? That's where we're headed. But I would rather have that kind of situation than the kind of situation where you give in, where you let it happen, where you throw in the towel and let these fascist bastards run this country, destroy this country and the world, which is what they're doing, which is what this is all part of. And the Great Reset is international, and it will ultimately lead to war with Russia and China, because they're not, there's a level at which they're not going to go along. This criminal elite are going for total power in globalization. And the U.S. is the key to the whole situation. And that's why you have to fight. This is very, very important. So the next 2.5 months are war. And better have war than not at all, than capitulate. And that's the whole point that I want to make in this very short video. And Trump has to fight all the way. And even if Biden were to take office, the fight continues. The fight continues because he will not be an legitimate president, and neither will Kamala Harris. And therefore, that's crucial also. So I'm going to end it there. I'm making it short, and I'll see you next week.